Hello and welcome back to Roga. Before we begin, allow yourself to settle into a comfortable position and put on your Roga device. Make sure that the headset is looped around your ears and its pads are securely attached behind your ears. Then, connect your Roga device to your phone and adjust the slider to a comfortable level. If the blue light is activated, you'll know it's on. If you're ready, let's begin. It can be so easy to believe that always being hard on ourselves is what allows us to be successful. For many of us, the drive to achieve, to be recognized for our contributions, to prove to ourselves or to others that we can do the thing, can overwhelm our senses and create a situation where it's hard to know what being good enough looks like. This can show up in our lives in a variety of ways. We might notice that we're holding ourselves or others to unreachable standards, and then end up feeling disappointed or let down when those standards aren't met. Maybe it's anxiety that shows up when we think about how others might feel about us, or overwhelm and shut down when we think about a big project or going out to meet new people. We might notice that the perfect plan that we had in our heads didn't go the way that we thought, and we might punish ourselves for not thinking of everything or doing it wrong, or letting ourselves or those around us down. We do this because we believe that somehow, by doing this, be different the next time. As if this isn't a pattern that we've repeated time and time again to little success. What's worse is this may have worked as a defense mechanism for a time, but it's not sustainable and eventually offers diminishing returns. This distorted thinking also helps keep us in what Tara Brach calls the trance of unworthiness. It keeps us from being okay with what already is and connecting with our real experience in the moment. It fosters feelings of anxiety, depression, scarcity, comparison, and a sense of smallness and isolation. This can lead us to thoughts of planning, worry, needing to fix it, and a general disconnection from ourselves and others. It prevents us from having a full human experience, limiting our ability to move through feelings and thoughts, and can lead to burnout, depression, relationship strain, and a constant treadmill of dissatisfaction and hurt. Much of the suffering in life is caused by this gap between accepting what is and wanting for something more or different. This is doubly hard in modern Western cultures that favor hard work, a grind and hustle culture, and is populated with distractions like social media and advertising that creates a dynamic of comparison of us against others. We will never be rich enough, fit enough, work hard enough, or have the perfect relationship enough to match those carefully constructed stories we tell ourselves about how others are doing and how things should be. This also sets up a condition where we might feel isolated or separated from others. You might tell yourself stories like, "I'll never find a partner who sees me," or "I'll never be good enough to attract the types of people in my life that I want." We can become isolated on ourselves and our suffering, and can tend to believe that no one suffers in this way except for us, causing even more separation. The pain of self-punishment can be the hardest of all, and it can be hard to notice. We might confuse it with self-improvement or optimization, problem-solving, taking action, instead of what we really need, which is care, compassion, soothing, stillness, quiet. This isn't to say that striving is a bad thing or that we shouldn't pursue our goals, but when our lens gets distorted by judgment of ourselves or others, negative self-talk, or a punishing voice, it prevents us from appreciating and savoring the good in our experience, from receiving or offering ourselves praise, and it makes it easy to overlook our achievements or be happy with what we have or how we are now. What if everything in this moment, just as it was, could be enough? What kind of pressure would that relieve in your experience? How might you soften a bit and allow yourself to feel all of your feelings? How might that allow you to have a more full human experience? How might you be able to connect more fully with yourself and with others from a place of acceptance and equanimity? Suffering is painful, but it's a natural part of life, and it can be a powerful tool to help us see where the conditions in our life aren't set up in an ideal way. The problem arises when we ignore suffering, trying to mask it through productivity and achievement, or numbing out with substances or experiences that distract us from that which feels challenging or painful. Unfortunately, what tends to happen when we stuff or ignore our suffering is that we then see a similar theme of suffering in other areas of our life. When I notice resistance or challenge in my life, I like to ask myself the question, where else does this show up in your life? How is this familiar? Instead of ignoring our suffering, we can turn towards it, allowing it to have the name and a place in our lives that is manageable. Instead of letting it run unchecked, disguising itself as discontent for our relationships, work, geography, our bodies, or our way of being, we can stay present to it and follow a process that allows us to be more acquainted with it and manage it more easily. This is where a regular compassion practice comes in. I know personally how transformative this can be, allowing myself to slow down, to take stock of what is, and to appreciate what is already happening, allowing me to have a strong base from which to step off into innovation, creativity, loving kindness, and meaningful connection. It allows me to stay aligned with my values and stay in integrity. With practice, this is something we can all cultivate in our lives. My name is Nicholas Whitaker. I'm a mindfulness coach and facilitator. I invite you to join me for a compassion practice. This is one of a few core practices that have allowed me to cultivate a connected and loving relationship with my wife and show up in more sustainable ways in my work and personal life. I live with a loud inner critic and a history of distorted thinking around enoughness that kept me separated from my experience and from others for a large part of my life. These types of practices that encourage vulnerability, mindfulness, and emotional intelligence, along with the support of coaches and guides, have given me tools to live a more connected and vibrant life, and to show up with the qualities I want to attract and call forward in others. I invite you to find yourself in a comfortable seat that feels supportive and alert. If you're ever too uncomfortable during this session, you can bring your attention back to your breath, or a comforting object in the room, or a pleasant memory. For me, I like to place a hand on the heart and think of the warm desert air on my face during sunset, or the sounds of my wife laughing, or playing with our cat. You can also pause this recording and get up and go for a walk before resuming if that feels supportive. Regardless, take care of you. And then we'll begin. Before you do anything, before you change anything, before you make anything wrong, allow yourself to settle into this moment and notice what is already happening. You might start with your body. How is your posture at this moment? Are you sitting in a way that is sustainable for the next few minutes? Where are you holding tension in your body? In your shoulders, in your neck, your hips? Simply notice without needing to take action how your body holds stress and tension. You may notice your shoulders are hunched forward, or your body is collapsed into itself, making it harder to breathe. Maybe you're clenching your jaw or squeezing your eyes shut. What is the nature of your breath at this moment? Is it supportive? Is it shallow? Deep? Are you holding your breath? How familiar are you with this way of breathing? Now, let's take a moment to adjust. Feel free to move your body in a way that feels nourishing. Maybe opening up the chest, rolling back the shoulders, and sitting a little taller in your seat. Okay. Now, if taking a few deep and slower breaths would feel supportive, try that now. And then simply let your body breathe itself, falling into a natural rhythm. Taking a few moments to settle and invite stillness into your experience again. Notice how your experience has changed since you first sat down. What did you notice? Did you notice a change in your sensation, in your body, in your mood, in your mind? I invite you to follow along with me through a process called RAIN, R-A-I-N, for recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. It's an old piece of wisdom, but it's an evidence-based method that's been popularized by mindfulness experts like Tara Brach, and it heavily informs my own work and practice. It's a simple but profound way to allow yourself to get in closer contact with the parts of your experience that are sometimes complex or painful or tend to be ignored, or that we power through in order to achieve our goals. Recognize. Can we offer this feeling a name? Allow. Can we allow it to be here for a few moments? Investigate. Can we be curious about it? What is it like? What are its characteristics? What else is here? And nurture. What can I offer it as soothing? Bringing to mind a situation where you feel like you were not enough. Not the most intense or difficult experience, but something that you can touch in this moment with courage for just a few moments. What happened? What was the sequence of events that brought you to that moment? Who was involved? What was said? The R of RAIN. Recognize. I invite you to notice the feelings around this memory. Where in your body is it most vivid? In your chest? In your abdomen? On your temples? Where do you notice little sensation? The back of your head? The tops of your hands, your toes. Does it have a color, or a shape, or a sound? Does this sensation have a name? Maybe something descriptive like tightness or pressure, or something more illustrative like shame monster or nag. Maybe a simple but personal name like Sally or Mom or Dad. Can you allow yourselves to be with these feelings for a moment? A of RAIN, allowing. You don't need to react to these feelings or sensations, not just yet, but simply see if you can allow yourself to feel them for a short period of time. Remember that these feelings are only a small part of your experience and that you can turn your attention elsewhere at any time, but for a moment, see if you can simply allow them to be as they are, observing them as if watching animals in the wild. The I in rain, investigate. Can you call on your inherent wisdom and compassion and stay curious about the feeling? What do those feelings need? What are they asking for? How are they trying to help? What are they protecting you from? The N in rain, nurture. Touching the area where you notice this feeling or sensation in your body most vividly, and apply a light pressure in a gentle and kind way that you might touch a kitten or a puppy or a child, offering a simple touch and loving support. Maybe placing a hand on your heart would feel helpful. Sometimes a kind word might help in a soft inner voice. I hear you. I understand. It's okay. I'm here with you. Thank you for trying to help. I'm okay. Sometimes it can be hard to offer this type of nurturing for yourself, and you might imagine it coming from someone else, a loved one, a spirit, a pet, or some figure or entity larger than yourself. See if you can allow that nurturing quality to be with you, coming from this other. Notice the quality of presence, the expression of care. A prayer or mantra or poem can sometimes be supportive as well, and you might follow along, mouthing the words or saying them in your own mind, or finding words that are more fitting. May I feel peaceful and safe. May I be happy. May I feel good enough, just as I am. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I offer this loving kindness to myself and others freely. After the rain, I recommend allowing it to soak in. This is really a practice of coming home to ourselves and our own experiences. You can then offer it back to the world. You might bring to mind someone whose relationship to you is uncomplicated, someone who you trust and knows you, and who you wish only the best for. Sometimes, if we can't think of anyone, even a pet could do. May this one feel peaceful and safe. May they be happy. May they feel good enough just as they are. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they offer this loving kindness to themselves and others freely. If you're able, inviting in a bigger circle to include neighbors and acquaintances, strangers, and all beings, including yourself. May all beings be peaceful and safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings feel good enough, just as they are. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings offer this loving kindness to themselves and others freely. Allow that feeling to emanate from your heart, radiating out in all directions. Now, drawing from this feeling, I invite you to try offering loving kindness to yourself once again. Bring your attention to the part of yourself that most needs tenderness and care. Repeat after me, or you can change the language to suit yourself better. May I feel peaceful and safe. May I be happy. May I feel good enough just as I am. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I offer this loving kindness to myself and others freely. Now again, allow that feeling to emanate from your heart in all directions. Rest in the awareness of the possibility of a loving and connected experience with ourselves and with others. Sense our connection with the suffering and nurturing of others. Know that we're all part of a human experience and that we are not alone in that experience. Be well, and thank you. That concludes this Roga session. Thank you for your time today. Before you get up and move on to your next thing, take a few moments to reflect on your experience. On the next screen, we invite you to document the intensity of your anxiety now that you've completed a Roga session. Add a few words in your journal to provide context to your experience so that you can look back on them later. What did you notice? What shifted for you? What conditions were present that may have contributed to your anxiety? If you liked this session, save it for later by clicking the bookmark icon in the top right. If you have a few more minutes, check out some of the other videos, and we'll see you again soon.